Okay, we're live. Good morning, everybody. This is Marci Mowry, president of the Pennsylvania Parks and Forest Foundation, and
Pam Metzger, membership coordinator, Pennsylvania Parks and Forest Foundation. Happy Friday, everybody.
Yeah, and when I zoomed my hands, they went the wrong way. They were pointing to the window, Pam, not you. I got to think opposite. It's kind of like when I'm instructing yoga. I got to think, mirror image. Yes, happy Friday. Happy Friday before Thanksgiving. Can you believe that it is the end of the year? We're looking at Thanksgiving right in the eye. Pretty excited about it, though. I do love Thanksgiving, and my husband and I are thinking about heading out to camp in a state park, and we've had some very fond memories of having Thanksgiving with friends in a park.
Excellent.
I think we'll do that again this year. So throughout the show, this is going to be a very relaxed conversation. We'll share some things. We'll answer any questions that you have. Feel free to pop questions in the comment box on whichever, if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube. Good morning, Carol. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. So feel free to chat, put any questions that you have in there, and we'll do our best to answer them. So we're doing this as part of the Extraordinary Give. This is probably the 6th or 7th year that the foundation has participated in Extraordinary Give. We first of all want to give a shout out to the Lancaster County Community Foundation for making it possible for so many nonprofits to participate in this single, I believe it's the single largest giving day in the world. And, their ability to underwrite the cost allows all that money to come to the nonprofits that donors choose. So thank you, Lancaster County Community Foundation, for making that possible. We have our giving page is live. We've got a number of peer-to-peer fundraisers, so we'll also give a shout out to our peer-to-peer fundraisers. We have a friendly little rivalry. My mouth is today. Between dark chocolate and light chocolate on your s'more. Tasha Ferris is one of our peer-to-peer fundraisers. Christian Alexanderson, Tori Talks Trails, Kim Hiked It, and I feel like I'm missing somebody. Am I missing somebody?
I don't think so.
Kim Hiked It, Tasha, Tori Talks Trails. I have it up. Nope, that's it. So there's lots of different ways that you can support the work of the foundation or to vote for your favorite type of chocolate.
So the hikers are out in force.
Yes, they are. And if you're not following Hemlocks to Hellbenders, that's Christian Alexanderson, Kim Hiked It, and Tori Talks Trails. Those are folks that are out and helping people to find places in the landscape by sharing their stories about what they're doing when they're in the outdoors. You can follow them all on Instagram. And Hemlocks to Hellbenders also has a podcast where they're interviewing people and talking about state parks and state forests and things that impact parks and forests. So shout out to all of them. So Pam, where do you want to start? We've got a lot of fun things to share, and as we get questions, we'll answer them.
Okay. Well, we got a lot of projects going, so we have some pictures of some things that have been accomplished recently. Playgrounds. Well,
if you want to show those, I can talk about them, because these kind of projects would not happen without the support of members and donors to the foundation, as well as some of the foundations that support the work that we're doing. And waiting to see which one Pam brings up first, so I know what to say. So this is a new playground that's going in at Little Buffalo State Park. This is a partnership with the Friends of Little Buffalo and the Pennsylvania Parks and Forest Foundation. It's also been supported by the Partnership for Better Health. And what makes this playground unique is this is going to be a fully inclusive playground. This is just the start of it being built by the amazing staff there at Little Buffalo. But once it's in place, we're working with a partner to have a design where we would have a poured rubber surface. So if a child or a parent is using an assistive device, such as a wheelchair, they would be able to access the elements of this playground and interact with it. So we're very, very excited to put this in place as the first fully inclusive playground that we've done. So keep an eye on this. We don't we do know that weather will impact whether the pour can happen this fall or if we may have to wait until spring.
Well, Bill and I were in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, about a month ago, I guess now, and I was out for a morning walk one day, and there was a fully accessible, poured, rubberized playground. I wish I had gotten a picture of it. I stood there and stared at it for the longest time. It was really amazing. So I think this is going to be a really terrific project when it's finished.
Yeah, and you think about it, it's not just about the child utilizing it. It's if the parent is using an assistive device, the parent is then able to play and interact with the child. So, and
those gigantic strollers that everybody pushes around.
Yeah. Well, some of those gigantic strollers have the wheels that could manipulate on the engineered hardwood, but a lot of assistive devices can't. So that's the value of the poured rubber surface. And I will say that, playgrounds are not inexpensive endeavors. That playground that you're looking at, we got on sale. And again, all the pieces aren't on there yet, but that was about $52,000. And the poured rubber surface is probably going to be about $20,000. So when a playground goes in, it does take a lot of, we've been fortunate, a lot of the VFWs and the American Legions have given donations towards this as well to make it a reality. So, when you see a playground, I often go into a community and I'm thinking, wow, somebody's a good fundraiser. That's $100,000
exactly.
But,
isn't it funny? Yes. You have a new perspective now.
You totally do. You totally do. But we're very excited about it. And we hope that we'll be able to do a ribbon cutting on it really soon.
Well, equally exciting is the playground.
Yes. So this is the new play system at Mont Alto State Park. And whenever I go out, I always do a trivia question as to what was the first state park? And a little insider secret, it was Valley Forge, which was in 1893. And then our second state park was Mont Alto. So this is the oldest park that's still in our system. And Franklin County provided us a grant to put in a new playground at Mont Alto, as well as to restore the Civilian Conservation Corps Pavilion at Mont Alto to make the fireplace fully functioning. So we're super excited about that. Because this is a Civilian Conservation Corps era park, we have some certain restrictions as to the play systems that we can place. These wooden structures that would have been in line with what may have been, in the early 1900s. So this playground is in place and is usable. We're very excited to have it there. It's right by, if you've been to Mont Alto, it's right by the old carousel, the very large pavilion. So it's right by there, so that if you're having a family reunion or a picnic, you can see the children playing. It's very close.
When you mentioned that, I thought there's probably folks out there who have not been to Mont Alto, and that pavilion is a pretty amazing structure. So I found this.
So that it used to be a carousel. This was a destination spot, for almost like a fairground. And that was a former carousel that has been converted into a pavilion. The Friends of Mont Alto electrified it, I think, a year ago, so that if you're having a family reunion there, you can plug in all your crock pots and all the things that you need to keep your food warm. And then if you're looking at where we are now, the playground is to the left of that, beyond the Clivus mulchum. To the left. Sorry, I won't do that.
I don't know.
Wake up, Marci. Come on.
I wonder whatever happened to the horses that were in the carousel.
Oh, that would be very interesting. It was interesting. This year we followed a carousel that used to be in a park in Philadelphia that a friend of ours could see from his childhood home, that was purchased by Cedar Point. And so we went out to Cedar Point and we rode the carousel. So that was pretty cool. Actually, we rode it twice, and we rode several carousels there, as well as all the fun roller coasters.
Well, merry-go-rounds are my speed, but I don't do roller coasters, but I do like merry-go-rounds. And horses
just
are.
Point out, I'm drinking out of my Pine Grove Furnace State Park mug. just as a little sidebar, that many of our friends groups, as well as PPFF, have gift shops in state parks, and this money all gets reinvested back into the park. So this is a handcrafted mug that the Friends of Pine Grove Furnace sell.
They're gorgeous. I don't have mine. I slurped down my coffee before we got on.
I have my white tea here going.
Trying to cut down. Speaking of other projects.
Yeah, we do more than playgrounds. Playgrounds are important because play is so critical in the physical as well as the emotional and mental development of children. But we also have been doing habitat restoration, and this new pavilion is at Bunker Hill, which is the Camp Michaud area of Michaud State Forest. We have been working with the Forest District to restore woodcock and grouse habitat, remove invasive plants, plant native plants. Last year, the staff built 2 blinds that PPFF supported the materials. And here PPFF, through a grant from the Alexander Stewart MD Foundation and Bass Pro Shops Cabela's Outdoor Fund, as well as donations from people like you, we were able to purchase an informational kiosk, which will not only allow people to have a sense of place by telling more about the history of this very unique spot, but also about the natural history as it evolves from an area very heavily influenced by invasive plants to one that is now growing native plants that support a diverse habitat of not just birds, but other wildlife species as well. And staff went down there last year and looked at the bird blinds. We took our board there to see it this year because it is really a unique project. And it's a showcase of what you can do when you work in partnership, because we're just one of several partners that is working with Michaud Forest District staff.
Yeah, the bird blind was great. I'm really looking forward to going down there and spending a long time sitting out, seeing what flies by.
Yes, yes. In fact, one bird blind is so well hidden, we couldn't find it. Maybe we'll get a tour to figure out where it is.
Yeah, keep me posted on that one.
And we don't have a picture of it right now, but we're doing a similar project in partnership with Bald Eagle State Forest up on Shade Mountain. You may have noticed, if you spend a lot of time in the outdoors, that grouse populations have diminished. You don't hear the drumming of the grouse as much as you used to, and outdoorsmen and women have not seen as many grouse, and in part because grouse are impacted by West Nile virus. But they have found, the Game Commission found through a study that they did, that West Nile only survives to a certain altitude. And above that altitude, it can't survive. So we've been working with Bald Eagle State Forest to create grouse habitat on top of Shade Mountain. And we've got a whole series of plots that we're looking at. So the first plot has been managed to remove some of the timber, to create drumming logs, to plant it in different grasses and seeds. And so we're looking forward to interpreting that, sharing some images, as it grows, and then moving along the area. But this is a really unique project in that, the grouse is the state bird of Pennsylvania, and its populations are declining. So this is one way that we can help contribute to the longevity of that pretty unique bird.
I think I've seen one in my life, and I don't know who was more startled, me or him.
It is startling. I startled one down at Tuscarora recently, but I was so excited, because I'm like, I hadn't startled one in probably 10 years, So, and if you think about it, it correlates a bit with when West Nile virus really became a problem in Pennsylvania.
So the grouse don't mind altitude, just the bugs.
Just the bugs. And maybe we'll have the researchers sometime do a program, because it is really interesting what the bugs do to the heart and brain tissue of the birds, and you can see why it's hard for them to survive that. Yeah. So we're great. And when you're restoring habitat for one species, it's also helping other species. So it really is a win-win, and we're excited to be able to do this, and we thank the partners that are helping to make it possible, and again, including donors, because we've had a number of private donors help that project.
That's right. That's great. Well, a project that's close to my heart and my location is just down the trail, the Great Allegheny Passage in Ohiopyle. And here's a bunch of really happy people cutting a ribbon on a campground that
Yeah.
was installed at Ohiopyle.
So this is a 5-site hiker biker campground right off the Great Allegheny Passage. And, you know, Pam lives in that area and can speak to this. But, you know, before, if you were riding the passage, you had to haul your butt, your bike, your gear up to the campground in the park. And that was quite a distance. And then if you wanted to go into town to have lunch or dinner or breakfast, you had to do it again. And so the Catherine Mavis McKenna Foundation saw a need and, you know, was very gracious in making a donation to the foundation in order to put in this 5-site hiker biker campground that is just off the passage. So this
I think one of the cool features about it is that it's, you know, as Marci said, you climb up to the state park campground and you start to climb to get to this, but then there's a cutoff. So you can kind of stand there and look up the hill and say, wow, I'm so glad I don't have to go up there.
So it is primitive camping. You know, there's a latrine there and, you know, it's primitive camping, but it's very close to town if you want to go in and grab an amazing meal or do a little gift shopping or resupply yourself, you know, if you're doing a long bike ride or walk, you know, all the things are right there. So get excited.
Anybody who's familiar with it knows that it would be right out, right off the high bridge as you're coming out of Ohiopyle. You can maybe another 100 yards or so is the turnoff to go up to Kentuck Campground, and then this is on a little ledge, so it's. I thought I had a couple of pictures of the actual campground, but it's cool. It's very,
nice.
very cool.
Yeah, they're far enough away that you have privacy, but close enough that you don't feel like you're all alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, as you know, that the foundation is very, very committed to ensuring a place and an experience for everyone in the outdoors, hence the inclusive playground. Hence, we've done a lot of work in terms of interpreting into different languages, some helpful materials. We've hosted events during special celebrations. But one of the things that we've put in ADA canoe and kayak launches. One of the things that we are going to be launching in 2024 is our first Action Track chair. And the Action Track chair is an assistive device to help people who utilize a wheelchair or other assistive devices to take a hike. And this will be our first one in Pennsylvania. We've up to several other states, Michigan, Georgia, Oregon, that have these track chairs, and they're very, very popular and enable people who may not have been able to be on the trail for some time to have that experience with family and friends. So we'll keep you posted as we move forward. We're not going to say where the first one is going to be. We will be looking for volunteers because these will be loaner chairs that people will be able to borrow, and we'll need volunteers to assist with them. So you can see it looks that the tracks allow the weight of the chair to be dispersed, so it has very little impact. There are only certain trails that it'll be able to go on. It's slope will impact it, but if you're utilizing a wheelchair or other assistive device, it will allow you to enjoy the experience. And Pam tried one of these when we were at a conference recently. And how was that experience, Pam?
It was terrific. Anybody who's watching on Facebook, if you're on our Facebook page, you can probably find the video. I couldn't when I was trying to find it, figures. So I would have shared the link with you, but it's on there. Yeah, it was, you can't really tell from this photo, but where your foot sits, that whole mechanism can tilt. You control it. So the track stays stable as you go up a hill, but you can tilt yourself so that you maintain your equilibrium. It's kind of hard to describe, but it was a very comfortable ride, very easy to use. So I think it's going to be a very popular thing. It's pretty amazing, the stories that the vendor and the other people who have them. But Oregon, Georgia, and
Michigan.
then the folks. who set it up were there, and they showed some really amazing videos. I related to the people on the beach who hadn't been to the beach in a very long time. I don't know if you have ever seen those beach wheelchairs with the giant rubber wheels. I mean, they're wonderful too, and we have a few of those in some of the state parks in Pennsylvania. But I tried taking Bill on one in Florida a few years ago, and we got down to the beach, and it was great. We were having a good time. I couldn't get him pushed back up to the car, so a little bit of a motor is a very good thing in this case. So
yeah, and if you aren't aware, Pam's husband Bill does utilize a wheelchair, so he helps to provide us with some perspective, as well as Pam provide us with perspective on that. So we're excited about the Action Track chair. So stay tuned for more on that. And then we've been doing a lot of tree planting as well. Tree planting is, in our opinion, one of the best things that we can do for the future of parks and forests, as well as the future of everybody's health. And because they have such a valuable, they're so valuable, cleaning the air, purifying the water, slowing runoff, reducing flooding, providing shade, providing a place for you to hang your hammock, so many good things, creating soil, all of those things, so, we're very thankful to our partner at New Trail Brewing for the Replenish IPA, which has provided tens of thousands of dollars for us to plant, not small trees, but, 12, 14-foot trees in state parks and state forests, as well as shrubs. So we're doing a lot of tree planting. And while I'm talking about New Trail, their most recent state park beer is French Creek, focuses on French Creek. And there we've been working with the park to restore a Civilian Conservation Corps cabin that had been split by it, that had the roof cave in after a storm, and that the park actually allowed the building to split to try to conserve it. And so we've been working with them to raise money to bring it back together, to rebuild this building. And I don't know if Pam can find a picture of that while she's
I was fascinated listening.
And the money that we're using is providing the materials, but the park staff has been doing an incredible job. Their craftsmanship is impeccable of rebuilding this facility to turn it into an education center, as well as a community place where groups can meet. So, we're pretty excited that we were able to invest some additional money into this, and we'll give Pam a second. Yeah, it's really cool. And what's unique about this, again, the Civilian Conservation Corps were young men during the Great Depression that really helped. So there's the collapsed roof, and they found the best way was to just kind of like split it, so it didn't take the whole building down. And we're going to bring another one up. So what she does at the Civilian Conservation Corps were young men during the Great Depression. I think they were like 17 to 24, who worked in what was called Roosevelt's Tree Army. So they helped to build a lot of the infrastructure in state parks and state forests, trails, bridges, dams, roads. This was an officer's quarter, and it's one of the only ones that remain in the system in all of the camps in Pennsylvania. So it's a very unique structure in and of itself, and the history and the story that it has to tell. So that's the repaired roof. We've been making repairs on the interior of this. And again, this will be an education center. So not only will people learn about the history of the Civilian Conservation Corps if they visit this, but they will also learn about a lot of different environmental education opportunities. And we're pretty excited. We're going to be partnering with French Creek in the spring to bring a Woman in the Big Woods program in one of the Civilian Conservation Corps camps there at the park. Yeah, there's the interior progress.
Whenever you are talking about the great talented staff, it reminded me of harking back to the tree planting, because we're trying to plant big trees that have a better chance of survival. Whenever I go out for a tree planting, I'm always grateful that the staff is generally pre-dug holes.
Especially because Pennsylvania is a rocky soiled state.
We had a tree planting event at Shawnee a few weeks ago, and all the great folks from REI came out to help, and They were stunned. They thought they were going to have to dig the holes.
Yeah, that is helpful.
I didn't want to spoil the surprise. But they showed up anyway. I mean, I think that's what's amazing is that, they thought they were going to have to dig the holes and they were there anyway. So.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And let's give a shout out to not just Park and Forest staff, but all the amazing volunteers that we have, not just in our friends groups, which we have 46 friends groups that are doing amazing things, but the volunteers that come out for events that friends groups are having, volunteers that are coming out to assist the Pennsylvania Parks and Forest Foundation. I don't know, Pam, if you're able to bring up the 2022 report. I actually have my little bookmark here. In 2022, PPFF and our friends had 168 service projects. We held 167 special events and outreach programs that reached over 71,000 people. 3,402 volunteers provided over 41,000 hours. And if you would put a number on that, a value, that's valued at over $1.2 million of volunteer service to help your state parks and state forests. And then, we accomplished a lot of different things. Over 4,000 native plant plugs posted. We had, through our educational income tax credit partners, we were able to support over 1,000 educational programs reaching over 5,900 students. Over 900 trees were planted, over 262 trail miles were built or maintained, 142 bluebird boxes. So, there was a lot of things that were accomplished in 2022 because of your support. So we take very seriously when somebody entrusts the foundation with their money, that we take very seriously of putting that money into action to make a noticeable difference in our state parks and state forests for today, as well as for future generations.
So here you can see the size of one of those trees that was planted in the size of the hole.
And that was one up at Heiner View State Park with our friends from New Trail Brewing. That was one of our first plantings with them. And then they had such a good time. They brought out 3 times the amount of people this year when we did our planting at Little Pine State Park.
Well, isn't it always better to be outside doing something than hanging around an office?
Was that a nudge?
Sorry.
Well, I am going to get out a little bit later today. Oh, I got a beautiful bird right outside my window. Our local soccer team is playing in the state championship, so we're going to go out and support them. Our local football team is playing in the state championship. So we're going to go support them whenever they play.
I was going to say it's not both the same day, is it?
Oh, I hope not. I hope they're not. We're dividing and conquering. But both our boys had played sports, and it's nice to be able to go out and support the young people.
Yeah, that's great.
So, I do want to touch base on, we run an awards program every year. Our awards banquet is in May. It will be May 14th in 2024. But we do have call for nominations out right now, where people can nominate for the Park of the Year, the Forest of the Year, amazing volunteers. This is a really exciting event. We always leave the banquet really jazzed because it just showcases the amazing work that's happening in state parks and state forests by both staff and volunteers, as well as we've showcased businesses that are making a difference, other organizations that are making a difference. So Pam is bringing up the page now where you can, right there on the landing page, the annual awards banquet, where you can click on that. And maybe, Pam, you can drop that link into the chat box so people will have it. But, these are actually pictures we held it at Little Buffalo State Park last year in the reception hall, and that's where we'll hold it again this year of 2024.
Another fantastic job done by fantastic state park staff in restoring this space. It was beautiful. Yeah, you can see a little bit of the woodwork over here. It was just really gorgeous. It was a great venue.
It is a great venue, and it is available for the public to rent as
Right.
well. So if you're looking for a venue to hold a wedding or a family reunion, you can check with the park and learn more about how you go about renting it. And it sits right up in the campground. So if people are staying over, like Pam and I both camped last year, and we were there for a couple of days for the setup and tear down of the banquet. So there's the form.
There's the link to the form. So yeah, by all means, love to hear from people about who they think is deserving. Not that not everybody is deserving, but they're amazing.
And it's one of our board members said yesterday, we had a board meeting, that one of the things that he gets excited about at the banquet is park and forest staff and volunteers aren't doing it for the recognition, but when they feel seen, it's heartwarming. And the banquet allows us to see and acknowledge all the hard work being done by people who are doing it, knowing that our park or the forest might be your vacation. It might be it might be helping you through difficult time. Maybe that park or forest is cleaning the water for your watershed. So these places are doing a lot of different things for us, and we like to be able to recognize them. So we were excited to be back in person last year. And we always have a silent auction as part of it, and that money was reinvested into the playground. And then we're also working on restoring an old train car there at the park. So, and the banquet is happening during I Love My State Park Week. I love my state. Well, where is it?
Left.
I learned my left and right as a toddler, so I don't know why I'm having trouble today. Some people have trouble with left and right. I don't have trouble with left and right, but it's hard to convince you that I don't. But I Love My State Park Week kicks off on Mother's Day and goes for an entire week. And one of the things that we do is we have our banquet, and we're looking at other things that we can do. So feel free, if you have any ideas of how we can help showcase our parks and forests during I Love My State Parks and for us and Forest Week. We're all ears, because we really want to showcase how important these places are to Pennsylvania, not just for the economics, but for our physical, mental, and emotional health, and as well as all the ecosystem services that they provide.
And I Love My State Parks Week is actually a national event, right?
It is. It was started by the National Association of State Parks Foundations. PPFF is a member of NASPF, and it was designed to just, there are more state parks across the nation than there are national parks. And, oftentimes people think in terms of national parks and they don't think about the state parks. And so we're trying to elevate people's knowledge of these places and help them find these, not just in Pennsylvania, but, we sneak out of Pennsylvania periodically and visit parks in other states. So helping people to connect to those places. So,
yeah, well, we are a little biased, of course, being here. And one of the really fantastic things about Pennsylvania state parks is that there's no admission charge. So that's increasingly rare across the country, but it's a very important feature of why we are the way we are, because we believe that everybody should be enjoying their state parks, and cost should not be prohibitive to go out there and enjoy the lands that belong to all of us. So
absolutely.
We're very lucky, very lucky.
As part of my gratitude work, on almost a daily basis, I'm thankful for these places that the leadership had the forethought to preserve and make accessible to everybody.
Yeah, I mean, Bill and I are ridiculously lucky. We go out the front door, out that door from my office, out the front door, down the street, across a bridge, and we are essentially in Ohiopyle. So that's.
I'm not that close. I'm not that close, but while we're talking, what I am close to is I've got a community parks, and there are over 6,000 community parks across Pennsylvania, and the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources does support them through grants. But you probably have a community park near you, and if you don't, or you don't know if you do, there is a Good for PA website where you can search for community parks, and oftentimes these are also free places where you can spend time in the outdoors, Many of them have programs to help you connect to them and explore them if you're not used to being in a park. Carol's 1 hour away, probably from Ohio. My closest park, I think, is Boyd Big Tree, or Gifford Pinchot, and we do a lot of campground hosting, and we like to go to Fowler's Hollow and host. They're good for you. There we go. So a little shout out to our friends at the Pennsylvania Recreation and Park Society.
Yep. And that's where you can go, your local community park, and see some of those fantastic playgrounds we were talking about. They provide inspiration.
So Pam, while you're showing things, we're doing something new in 2024. We mentioned that we're part of the National Association of State Park Foundations, and Pam, Tasha, and I went to a national conference recently, and our colleagues in Michigan had hosted, I think they kicked it off. Hi, Avani. They kicked it off during the pandemic, but they do a virtual 5K. It's the Happy Little Trees program, because Bob Ross Bob Ross is from Michigan. And so the Happy Little Trees virtual 5K program is a program where you can register, and you can choose a state where you would have your support go. And it is to help plant trees. And I think we have a spammer in the chat box. I don't know how we can.
I'm hiding them.
Okay. So, anyway, get my train of thought. So the Happy Little Trees program is you register. It's virtual, so you can go out and you could organize. It's April 22nd to 26th, I think, in Pennsylvania, what is also the Joseph Trimble Rothrock Week. And you can go out and run. You can go out and walk. If you register, you get a T-shirt, a bib, and a participation medallion. And then $10 of your registration goes to the state that you choose. And Pam, I don't know if you can show all the states that are participating, but we were very excited when Michigan invited us to participate. And we were actually talking to some Bob Ross instructors to see if we can do maybe sort of an art class and then a 5K walk, or how we're going to engage with it. But we're excited to be able to do this and raise additional funds for planting trees.
Do I remember correctly that back during the pandemic, when we were doing the weekly lunch and learns, we had a Bob Ross instructor do a paint class for us, didn't we?
I think we did. Yes, I am pretty sure we did.
It's hard to remember back to the pandemic, but yeah, I'll go over to the YouTube channel and see if I can find that link, because
yeah, and we've identified several that are close to state parks that we're gonna work with for that. But we're excited to be able to participate in that with several other state parks, and that's one of the benefits of the National Association of State Parks Foundation, is learning about these opportunities and working cooperatively across the landscape to plant trees. I told you, we love trees. So, photo contest. Pam, you want to chat about that for a sec?
Sure. I haven't even had a chance to really look at all of the entries we've had yet. Over 700, I think Tasha said, this year.
Yes, we had over 700 entries, and voting is live on our Facebook page right now, as well as the Judges' Choice Award winners. I believe Pam put them in Take 5.
Yep.
And if you aren't getting Take 5, we'll eventually put that in the chat box. That's our weekly e-blast that comes out talking about what's happening in state parks and state forests, celebrating the accomplishments that you made possible, as well as sharing information that can help you enjoy and be safe in the outdoors. like Pam recently shared our campfire savvy infographic, because unfortunately a bad campfire at one of the shelters on a hiking trail was burned because of poor campfire management. So
it was a timely reminder.
Yeah.
Yes, because here it is November, and I think people might not realize that there's still the possibility of wildfire even in November when it's cold and frosty overnight. And
leaves burn, wood burns.
Yes, just a little thinking. But yeah, the photo contest is up and ready for voting, and it's a simple thing to vote. You just go in and look at the different albums, which are the different categories in the contest, and vote for your favorite with a like. And we don't restrict it. It doesn't have to be just pick one. You can vote for as many as you like. So if you like it, vote for it.
I would, my one warning would be give yourself some time, because as Pam said, there were over 700 photos. Some of them are amazing, and you may find yourself diving deeper into the photo. And I also say, you know, I'm taking a mindful outdoor leadership class right now, and the research shows if you can't get outdoors, even looking at a photo of nature can help reduce your stress and provide, you know, the calm that you need. So if you find yourself in a stressful situation, I can look out my window and I have a tree, but I also have the state park calendar hanging up by my desk, both here at home and in the office. So if I find myself getting stressed, I just imagine myself right now, a picture of Hickory Run State Park is up. I just imagine myself being in that space, sitting along the waterway, listening to the ice crack, taking in the smell of the trees, and it brings me right back to being centered. So that's a little plug for the calendar if you don't have one, but also to review the pictures in the, not just in the Facebook page, but on our website, we have a gallery of images, and it's actually one of the most popular pages of our website. People taking a mental break to look at pictures of nature and bring themselves back to center.
Right. Yeah, speaking of the website, I thought I pop over there for a minute. In case you haven't been here, across the top is where you'll find a lot of things about the work that we do, and here's including the gallery that Marci talked about. There's several galleries. There's photo contest winners from past years. There's hopefully this follows me when I do this.
Yeah, it did. Awards banquet.
Cool. Well, these folks are this is our Hall of Fame. The folks who have completed their passport. Our newest entries were the Reeds, who
I
in
love
less
that
than
picture.
5, isn't that great? You can't quite see the rainbow, but
Oh, I can now that you pointed it out.
isn't
Yeah.
that wonderful? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I love that picture. And I love the topped, like topped, whatever way it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, so they completed the entire challenge in barely 5 months.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they went to their first park, had such a wonderful time that they said, "We're going to do this," and off they went. So, yeah,
Is that dog bigger than the cabin?
Isn't that great? Yeah, it's
That's
wonderful.
perspective, I guess. Depth of field.
So yeah, there's some fun stuff in here, and a lot of people have had a wonderful time. So I get a kick out of going in there and looking at that. But there's many galleries in here that you can hopefully get inspired. This one has not gotten as much traction as I hoped it would. We have a link on the website to submit photos, and just randomly. So this is where I would post them if they come to me. So think about it. And Marci mentioned the restoration project for the train car we funded through the banquet last year, and this is the car. So
But we're funding. We're not.
You real fun.
Not done yet. We've got a way to go.
Yeah, not done
yet. Fundraising.
So,
but you know, while you're there, Pam, can you jump to the publications page? Because
sure.
we want to point that out. A lot of people don't realize that we've got a lot of good information under the About Us publications to help you explore state parks and state forests. Things to do near our fact sheets that we put together. Like, let's say you live in Pittsburgh, but you find yourself in in Philadelphia, where you can download this and it'll give you ideas of things to do in state parks and state forests near that area. Maybe you've just moved to Pennsylvania and you don't know about the parks or forests, or you're looking for volunteer opportunities. That information is also on the backside of that. Here are the friends groups that are available if you want to get engaged, or if there's not a friends group, how you can connect through the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources Conservation Volunteer Program. So we've got a lot of different communities as a base that you can look at these. Some of these we also have in Spanish. So if you're Spanish speaking, you are able to download it and get the information, or you can share it with Spanish speaking family and friends. We also have the skill builders. If you scroll down, the skill builders are if you're looking to do some new type of activity and let's say you wanted to go mountain biking, but you've never done it before. It'll give you some tips and maybe some places where you can go. And these were developed in cooperation with the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. And then we've got a bunch of infographics, the one we just referenced in regards to campfires. Things when people say to us, well, how do I, what's the proper etiquette for being in a state park? How do I build a campfire or manage a campfire? How do I read a blaze when I'm out hiking? What do those marks on the tree mean? Here's one of my favorite ones, the value of trees. So there's a lot of good information on here that we encourage you. One of the biggest barriers for people is their fear of Lyme disease. So here's information on being safe and how to prevent Lyme disease or identify it if you find yourself exposed to a Lyme carrying tick. So a lot of good information, and we encourage people to not only utilize them, these are all links that you could share in your social media, share with other people.
We have some freebies here that we've had over the last couple of years, including a little cookbook, campground cookbook that you can download and do some of Marci's favorite recipes over your campfire.
And then the Insider's View was new this year. We're still working on them. And that's what we had educators, environmental educators, and we should have some more. We have to talk to Tasha about where they are. I think that got pushed to the side. But these are park friends groups, park and forest friends groups, or educators that are sharing, what's the best short hike? If you only have a couple hours, what would you recommend people do? So it's a little cheat sheet on exploring a new place. Yeah. So to figure out what happened to the other ones, because I think we had about 10 or 15 of them.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they're up in the shared drive and I just haven't pulled them down. So.
Maybe we need to talk to Pam.
Oh, her again.
And likewise, the other resource that we have that we point people to is we've got informational videos on our YouTube channel. And they're range from, winter camping to, again, how to be safe with a campfire to how to make a s'more. And maybe today will be one on how to make indoor s'mores for when you can't get in the outdoors. And what's your favorite chocolate for a s'more? Ongoing theme. So, and then that's YouTube at PA Parks and Forests, I think, something to that effect. I'm sure Pam will bring that up.
Yep, some people are looking at us there now, but I will pop it.
That's true. That's true. The other thing that I will point out that we're doing that was new this year, and we're looking to continue to do it in 2024, is we've started an online book club, and it meets the last Wednesday of the month at noon, and it's virtual for an hour. And we're discussing different conservation books, outdoor writing, travel logs. I'm turning away because I want to find the book we're reading next. But I think I have it in here. Maybe not. Might be in the other room. No, it's in the other room. So the next book that we're reading is The Nature Fix. And we'll be unveiling our new video on the role of quiet in the outdoors during that discussion. We read Braiding Sweetgrass. We braved the Wild River, where we actually had the author joining us. Next month we'll be out of Leopold's Sand County Almanac, and then we'll announce the books for 2024. And some of the book club participants have suggested some books, and we've got a new book written by Ben Moyer that we'll be exploring. And so we've got a lot of good fun things, and it's a low pressure book club. We ask questions and we just engage in a conversation, and I find that it's very helpful to me to get more out of the books that I'm reading, to hear other perspectives and takes on these books.
Yeah, the link is in our calendar of events on the website, and it's just a Zoom link. So pop in any fourth Wednesday of the month. Is that?
It's the last Wednesday of the month.
Wednesday of the month. Okay.
Yeah, and I would say even if you haven't completely read the book, it's still worth, because some of the questions are inspired by the book, but don't require you to have the book memorized.
Pressure.
We all have busy lives, and we totally understand that, you can't get to all of it, but don't let that keep you from it.
Yeah, we have a reading list on the website too, with links to a whole lot of other different books. Just popped into my head, and now I'm trying to figure out where I might have hidden it. It's always fun trying to figure out what logic I was using on a given day for where I might have put something.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because sometimes I can't find things, and I'm just like, where
I know.
would it be?
Drives you mad, doesn't it?
I do that myself. Like I was talking to a woman who just revamped somebody's filing system, and I'm like, some days I file, and then like 2 days later, my mind is filing it in a different way. So
it's actually under the Our Work tab and the Recreation tab. So I don't know if that makes sense. To me, reading is recreation, so that must be what I was thinking that day. But there's a tab called Fun for Families, and then it also includes the Explore Nears are put in there again too, the outdoor things, and then some of the other things that we reproduced, and then at the very bottom is our reading list.
And that's for both children and adults, right?
Right. So I have it linked directly for While Away the Hours with a Good Book. You can submit something that we might have missed, and then here's links to a whole lot of reading material. So it's a lot of fun. There's all those. This is one of
the
my
Big
favorite.
Burn. I love. And we're actually talking about reading McPhee as one of the books.
Oh yeah. Oh,
yeah.
This is wonderful. I love that book. So. And
I love The Big Burn. If you haven't read The Big Burn, I would recommend that.
Right. So yeah. We've got enough on the website to keep you busy. All you have to do is just give it a look-see.
And if the filing on the website doesn't make sense to you, just let us know.
There is a search function that's kind of, I'll use the word function.
Yeah, it functions sometimes. It doesn't always.
Its logic is not any better than mine, I don't think. There's just so much.
There is just so much. Can you take us to the YouTube channel just quickly?
Sure.
Ma'am? Yes. Sorry, we're like bouncing around, and we are winding up on our time. I'm just going to.
I tried to find the Bob Ross Lunch and Learn, and I didn't find it, so I have to look around for it. I don't know. It didn't seem to be in the Lunch and Learn playlist, so I don't know if I'm missing it somewhere.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago, I was camping at Fowler's Hollow, and there was a young man there from Wisconsin who. There we go. So you can see, I think there's videos, there's home. If you go to shorts, you can find some other videos. I don't know what happened to the s'more one that was up there. Is it under videos?
It's under videos, yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
So it's a whole variety. And, for our friends groups, we record some of our trainings as well. Good one is Forest Clean Water and Craft Beverages, where we explore how the benefit of trees to the craft beverage industry. So just a wide variety of resources available there. So, I just wanted to chat. It's interesting how you can make connections with people when you're camping. And Fowler's Hollow is a wonderful little park. There's no cell signal. So, it's great because you talk to the people you're with as well as other campers. And there was a young man there last week from Wisconsin who was running a tea farm, Sacred Blossom Farm, living herbal teas. And he gave me one that's was a sleep blend, which I used last night because I was having a little insomnia. This is Tulsi, which is a stress relieving, but they're really wonderful teas. And I was on his website yesterday reading a little bit about him. But I've met some amazing people in the campgrounds, just sparking up a conversation about our shared passion of being in the outdoors. And I think that's one of the great things about our parks and forests is we know we all have something in common, and that's that we love these spaces.
That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Where in Wisconsin is the farm?
Oh, yeah, let me put my reading glasses on. Mondovi.
Don't know where that is. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's a small farm inside. It's called the it's kind of like nestled inside, and they use polyculture that's pesticide free. Yeah, the tea that I have, I haven't opened this one yet, but the tea that I had last night was really, really good.
It looks beautiful.
I know. Yes. I wish I could. I don't want to open this till I'm ready to drink it. They're so fresh, and they're just, it's all hand managed. So just nice. a little shout out for them. I am a tea drinker. Pam's the coffee drinker. I'm a tea drinker. And I actually have a whole cabinet for teas. Herbal, white, green, dark, regular, rooibos.
I just don't know why. I never got to it, but coffee's my thing. But
yeah, so if you're camping and I'm there, come share a cup of tea.
Fowler's Hollow is the place to find. Actually, heck, they're hosting all the time in the summer, so you're likely to find Marci and Joe and Phoebe.
And Phoebe. She's out walking with her daddy right now.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Well, thank you for joining us. It's been wonderful to chat. I hope that you found some of our banter to be helpful. We're very excited about the projects that you make possible. They wouldn't happen without the support of members and donors, as well as people who loan their voice. We've been very successful the past 2 years of having the governor and the General Assembly allocate money toward the backlog of maintenance and infrastructure needs. And that's because fans of parks and forests have, spoken and let their legislator know how important legislators, their senators and their House members, how important these places are to them. And we actually have a Take Action Center on our website that, when there's something that we need people to comment on, we send it out and people do comment. And that makes a difference because it's so much. A member of the General Assembly will listen to a constituent far more readily than they will listen to somebody from an organization. So that's key. And thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah,
thank you, Carol. Thank you for being here. I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and looking forward to having you get more involved. So enjoy the day. If you haven't been to the ExtraGive website, check it out. There's lots of good nonprofits there. And if you are a Schmore fan, check out our How to Make a Schmore video.
Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate it. See you soon.
Bye-bye.